What's going on, guys? Chris with Journos Comics here, doing my first webcam video. How to get in front of the camera again to do my Captain America #2 review. So, spoilers. If you haven't read the book, you don't want to hear spoilers of what happened, please turn the video off. Otherwise, let's go into it. So, we all know how #1 ended. Um, you know, Captain America is pushing off a fellow SHIELD agent and hailing Hydra. My kids are back here like, what? Captain America's Hydra? No, obviously he's not. So, here's the thing. Well, you know what? Let's go into this a little bit. I'm just so anxious to, get out my opinion. So basically, that's where we left off in #1. Hail Hydra. Boom, it's done. So we start in #2 with um, Red Skull telling a story. I don't know. See, all this red is Red Skull telling a story. Now, what he's doing through this whole thing, Captain America is not in this whole book at all. There he is. Basically, he's. Let me make sure I have my information right here. The cube, Korvac, whatever the name of the cube is. He goes and tells a story about how back in the day, he fought Cap over the cube, and it turned into shrapnels, little pieces, and then, as you can see here, the little pieces were confiscated by the government or Shield or whoever. And fast forwarding to present day, well, not present day, but not. It's still in the past, but to more recent times, the cube took the shape of a little girl, one of the shrapnel pieces, um, and Red Skull's here, telling more of his story about how he wants to take control. He somehow, like the shrapnel piece that turns into a being, actually has powers and can like teleport. And for some reason, she has memories of being with Red Skull as the cube. So she's thinking that Red Skull is like the good guy, and she doesn't trust the Shield agents and all this crazy stuff, right? So, and I know, see, although I have a lot of the run, I never read any of the issues of the Marvel Now Captain America run before Sam Wilson took over. So I never read about how Steve Rogers got his powers drained and became old man Steve Rogers and all that. So this was my first kind of introduction, a little deeper into things that had happened within that story. So we see here Red Skull is persuading the girl. The girl has powers, and basically, as we know now, Red Skull possesses the mind of Professor X. So fast forwarding, um, it goes into here's Steve Rogers is the old man, and then how basically he got his powers back by the cube, and we learn that this whole time it was a plot by Red Skull. Um, so Red Skull used this cube's powers in the little girl's form to basically he wants to brainwash people with his mind, with the powers, because I guess the little girl in the cube has the ability to alter memories. With that, and with the power of Red Skull being able to read minds and kind of control minds and all this stuff, now he's thinking that he could build an army and get people to reset their memories to as if they were always a part of Hydra. That's what they did to Steve Rogers. So this is Steve Rogers being under the control of the cube, basically. And so now we know all of what was going on in #1. It's not Steve Rogers. I mean, it is, but it's not him under his own control. Here's my issues. Here's what I think honestly happened. I don't know. I don't know when they write these stories. I don't know if they had multiple issues written or a plot written out for multiple issues before the first release, the second release. So basically, it is my assumption that after #1 was written and all that backlash came, They rushed number two together to actually have this telling of the Red Skull story. I do believe that they have the plot line mapped out. They knew that this was the case, but as you see, Steve Rogers isn't in there at all, um, and they went straight to by telling the whole story of why Steve Rogers, Captain America, is hailing Hydra. I honestly believe that that was not their goal originally. I feel like because they went back and told that backdrop story in the first issue about how this Hydra woman, went to Cap's mother's assistant, gave her a flyer for a Hydra meeting, and so I felt like over the next few issues they were going to keep going back and forth to the past, explaining more of that history of well, what happened with Steve's mom going to the Hydra meeting. Did she become Hydra or what now? So now there was no mention of that backstory in this at all, and it's just again, Red Skull telling the story. So I think they kind of shoved it all in number two because they needed to get out the fact that no, Steve Rogers is not Hydra. Captain America has not always been Hydra. And this is what I was saying in my other video. If you guys watched it, when I told you guys I was going to present this review, when the editor came out and stated that this is really Steve Rogers and we're going to explain how he's been Hydra this whole time. Well, he hasn't. He hasn't. In his mind, maybe now that he has false memories in his mind, he thinks he has been. So that's where I said it was kind of devious of the editors to come out and say all that. And I think the bottom line of all this is shock. That shock and awe. And they wanted this. They wanted something controversial. And to be honest, I know that that is good for movies, stories, entertainment, anything, shock and awe. I don't think it's working in this. Now, I'm not mad. I'm not one of those that was mad about, oh, Steve Rogers is Captain America's Hydra. It can't happen. Boycott Marvel. No, I was patient. You got to be patient with comic books. What I'm upset about, not even upset about, but what I dislike is just where this story is going in a sense. I just it's a lot. It's convoluted, in my opinion. And I just think the way they're now that we're on issue two, I'm still going to be a little patient for issue three to see where that goes. But I don't like how they didn't take us back to the story in the past with his mother, and I don't like that. Well, that's probably my main issue. I don't like how they summed everything up though with Red Skull in one issue. I think that too should have been held off over time. I think if they wanted you to be to for us as readers to keep guessing and still, at the end of this read, we could have said, well, now we have a little bit more information, but we still assume. We still have to assume, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this. It's kind of like watching a movie, especially like a spy espionage movie. As you get further into the movie, they're going to put little things, little Easter eggs in places for you to say, oh, so that's probably why this is happening. But then you don't know like the big kahuna until the end of the movie, obviously. And then it's like, oh, I feel like basically what happened here was number one was like the first 20 minutes of a movie, and it was so shocking that they interrupted the movie and threw the ending into the middle of the movie, and then now they're gonna go back and let you watch the rest of the build up. I don't know. So that's where I stand with that argument. I think this goes back to Marvel right now. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not reading every run that they're doing right now, obviously. I'm very disappointed with what Spider-Man's doing. I think they had. I like that they wanted to do something different, have some shock and awe, but then I dislike how it's kind of unfolded and manifested so far. Who knows? Could get better, could get worse. But I think that's kind of what Marvel's doing right now with trying to do something. I think it's a fine line when you try to do something different, and it's a fine line when you try to do something similar. Because balancing the scales is tough. Either way, it could be a hit or it can be a miss. So I just think for this one, I think Marvel was trying to do something new and creative, and I don't necessarily like how it's panning out. So, um, I think that's about it. I could keep rambling on, maybe repeat myself a few more times, but you know, hopefully those that were so angered, Captain America being a Hydra agent, can kind of calm down now. Um, and hopefully you guys can, put some comments down, give me some, of your opinions. If you disagree with me, agree with some things, what do you guys think of how it's been mapped out so far? What do you guys think is going to happen in the future? I think this is still something that I'm going to keep reading, at least for now. Captain America has always been one of my favorites, but we'll see. To be honest, I will say one more thing before I wrap up. I don't think this whole taking his serum, the superhuman power away, super soldier power away, I don't think that should ever happen. That's where I think this whole thing kind of messed up. I don't think that should have ever happened. That storyline should have just been scrapped, in my personal opinion. So, thank you guys. Appreciate you watching. Again, comments. I am now at 93 subscribers, 7 more until my 100 sub contest. So, again, I appreciate the support. Subscribe if you're not. And until next time, thank you guys. Appreciate it.